Today we're up to Canto 4. A deafening clap of thunder undermined my sleep state, startling me awake like someone roughly shaken. I stood up, feeling rested. I looked around, searching for a landmark and wondering where I'd woken. The fact is, I found myself on the brink of a deep and melancholy chasm, echoing with a roar of endless anguish. It was so dark and deep and impenetrable that I couldn't identify anything, however intently I tried. "Let us go, then, you and I. I'll go first. You stay behind me," said the poet, who was now ghost white. "That's how we'll descend into the unlit world below." Seeing how pale he was, I said, "I'm worried. Look at you. If you're this afraid, who'll take care of me when I blunder and stumble?" He shook his head. "It's pity on my face," he said, "for the suffering souls below, not fear. Let's begin, since we have a long way to go." He stepped down and motioned me to follow. That's how we entered this first circle of the black abyss. Here, the only audible sounds were sighs, huge, heaving ones that blended together. They made a monotonous hum that moved through the air. They came from sad masses of men, women, and children. No one seemed mistreated, but there were so many of them, the room was teeming. My sympathetic teacher looked at me and said, "Don't you wonder why this group is trapped here? Before you go any further, I want you to know. It's not at all because they've erred. Many, in fact, were good. But that's not enough. They weren't baptized into your beliefs. If they lived in the pre-Christian era, they didn't worship at the right altar. I myself was one of those. For this and no other fault, we live here, where our only distress is that we remain lost in hopeless longing." Hearing this saddened me. I could clearly see there were many here with great worth, suspended in limbo between better and worse. "Tell me, teacher, I beg of you, please." I wanted to be reassured that unshakable belief could conquer any bad beginning. Were there any here who, by their own or others' efforts on their behalf, ever found their way to a better state of being? He knew what I was getting at. I was still new to limbo, he said, when I saw some lifted out by one of the highest order, a crowned, victorious force. He took the shades of the earliest human beings, the man who began it all, his son Abel, Noah, law-making Moses, who was always obedient, patriarchal Abraham and King David, Jacob and his clan, his father, his children, of course Rachel, for whom he'd had to serve so long. He blessed those and many more. I have to tell you, before this, no human soul had ever been saved. All the while, as we were speaking, we were cutting a path through the forest, by which I mean a dense forest of shades. We hadn't gone far from where I'd fainted, when I saw a fire that shed some light in this sphere of total darkness. Even from this distance, I could sense that within the circle lit by light of the fire, I was a veritable cocktail party of eminent men. I said, "You honor all the arts and all the scientists, Ernst and Darwin. Who are these honorific few, that they're divided from the others?" He said, "Heaven is impressed with the honors and renown that still echo on earth. The favored ones maintain their distinction in limbo." Meanwhile, a voice cut through the crowd. "Stand aside, please, for the honored poet. His ghost went away, but now it's back." After the voice paused and all was silent, I watched as 4 important shades approached. They were neither particularly happy nor exactly sad. My teacher said, "Note how the one with the sword of Achilles' letter opener in his hand walks in front of the other 3. His position suggests he's their leader. He's Homer, the reigning poet, and after him is Horace, the satirist. Then Ovid plays Tray, and Lucan is last. We all share the name," the voice announced, "poet. The kindness they do, by honoring me, they gain in goodness." I stood at the edge of the Eton of poetry, established by the Lord of Song, who, eagle-like and high above the rest, circles and glides. They chatted some amongst themselves before they looked at me and motioned to come a little closer. My teacher seemed pleased. I was honored even more when they asked me what I thought, and in so doing made me the 6th in the world of wisdom. We made our way like that to the limit of the light, discussing things that here are better left unsaid, just as there it was right to say them. We came to the base of an impressive castle that was surrounded 7 times by high walls. A little river formed a protective moat. It was lovely. The 6 of us walked over it. As if it were solid ground, we passed through the 7 walls and came to a spring green meadow. The people there were very serious. They took their time to look around and had an air of authority. They spoke softly and seldom. We moved off to one side where there was a well-lit open area that was elevated. From there we could see them all. On the high gloss green before me, the most prestigious spirits were visible. I'm still happy to have seen them. I saw Electra, ancient ancestress of all, with many others. I recognized the Trojan war heroes Hector and Aeneas, and hawk-eyed Caesar, armed to the hilt. From the Aeneid, brave Camilla, and Penthesilea. Across from them, King Latinus, sitting with his darling daughter, Lavinia. I saw the Brutus who bested Tarquin the proud. I saw Lucretia, Cornelia, Julia, and Marcia, and off on his own alone, the former Sultan of Egypt. When I tilted my head up slightly, I could see Aristotle, the master of those who knew, seated in the middle of a philosophic family. All look to him, all honor him. Nearest to him, in front of all the others, I saw Socrates and Plato. I saw Democritus, who says the world is only chance and happenstance, and then Diogenes, Anaxagoras, Thales, Empedocles, Heraclitus, and lusty Z for Zeno, and lastly Z for Zeno. I saw the good collector of good things, Dioscorides, and I saw Orpheus, Cicero, Linus, and moral Seneca, geometric Euclid and Ptolemy, as well as doctors Hippocrates, Avicenna, Galen, and Averroes, who wrote the book on Aristotle. Of course I'm rushing through because the story's still ahead. Even so, the telling could never hope to match the fact. The group of 6 is then reduced to 4, as my wise guide leads me by an alternate route, from the castle calm into the troubled air outside the door, and I come to a place where there is no daybreak ever.